Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Devasesha Shanyavari Vashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, now I've got to dig up the Bhagavad Gita here. I didn't get it ready, so just bear with me. Hare Krishna, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, here it is on my screen. Now I press some buttons and you can be able to see it on your screen. Oh, wait a minute. Button's not working. One second. All right. 1 second. I should prepare this beforehand, but hmm. All right, it's not. Anyway, let me try again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh. Some problem here. Just bear with me at my let me try something else. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some force quitting. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Stay with us. Don't go. Don't leave. I'm getting there. Okay, we're there. Now I can share the screen. Hare Krishna. Admit Chandravali. Okay. Share. Oh, did it get shared?
It's coming.
Can you see Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, it's here.
Right. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Abchandravali. Welcome, Radha Sundara. Sundari. Thank you for joining us. All right. So we're beginning on verse 13 today, which is down here at the bottom. I just want to, last week we left off on this verse, number 12, obviously, comes before 13. And yeah. So, yeah, those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So let me just go back one more. Just want to no. Oh yeah, long purple. Yeah, Avajananti Mam Mutta Manasantanam Ashratam. Fools deride me, and the result which they get is being described. Yeah. And now number 13, going to number 13. So what about those who do accept Krishna? This is the result we heard last week of those who don't accept Krishna as he reveals himself. And the purport was quite, I remember Prabhupada, the purport was quite strong. Prabhupada speaking about the results. Yeah, their destiny is certainly to take birth after birth in the species of atheistic and demonic life. So atheistic and demonic life. What could be demonic life? I mean, the lowest species of life, perhaps. What is demonic life, do you think?
Alcoholics,
Oh, it could be alcoholics, snakes, scorpions.
drunkens.
Yeah, perpetually their real knowledge will remain under delusion, and gradually they will regress. Yeah, this is to the darkest region of creation.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So then this verse is now the one we're going to begin with today is what about those who do accept Krishna? Something a bit more positive, all right? So Modern Mongol, you have your hand again enthusiastically raised. So go ahead.
So someone else would like to read.
No, you had your hand up. I'm sure others will put their hand up in due course. You can.
Text 13.
Yes.
Atmanasto mamparta daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso jatva bhutadim avyayam. Translation. O son of Prtha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Purport. In this verse, the description of Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of a Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this affected? That is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the preliminary formula. Being original, being marginal
Margin.
tendency, as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, is put under the guidance of the spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Daivi Prakriti. Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way, by surrendering to the supremacy of Godhead, one attains to the stage of a great soul, Mahatma. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna, because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, because the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma, a great soul, develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features, such as the four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to another features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of a demigod or a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna and Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unswearing service,
Serving. Swerving.
unswearing,
Yeah. Unswerving.
unswerving service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Never
Okay.
heard.
Yeah, I think this is one of Prabhupada's unique uses of the English language.
Wow.
Unswerving. I think you'll probably find that difficult to find it in a dictionary.
Mm.
So swerving, we know it means you're going from left to right, swerving. But the devotees of the Lord, they always engage in a fixed meditation and service to the Supreme Lord. Right, so there's a few interesting things in this purple. But any questions or comments to begin with?
So once you surrender, Krishna unlocks the door. Let's say like this.
That sounds nice. It'd be nice to be locked in in Krishna's service. Yeah, you could use that adjective, I guess. You're locked in. Yeah, once one is situated in the divine, in the Devi Prakriti, one's situated in, to some degree, their constitutional position of service to Krishna. So there's no going back for such great souls. Mahatma. Yeah. Another definition of Mahatma given as well by the Acharyas is someone who's large-minded. Mahatmana, they're large-minded. Yeah. And Prabhupada alludes to here that how to become a Mahatma, and here it develops through the association with other Mahatmas or pure devotees. So this is mentioned in the beginning of the Acharya's commentaries here. The one just reading here. But those men who attain greatness by unpredictable, those men attain the unpredictable mercy of my devotees, attain the nature of the devatas, devin prakritim, instead of the asuras, which are mentioned in the last verse. So by associating with devotees, one gets the qualities of the devatas. That's why it said here, devim prakritim. Yeah? And some of those symptoms are being given here. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, anything else from here?
So as bad as our nature can be, the moment you associate with devotees, they will help you to purify and open those good natures in you and get rid slowly of the bad qualities.
Yeah. There's one nice verse like that. By associating with devotees, then it opens up the doors of liberation. Moksham Dvaram, Moksham Dvaram. The doors become open to attain liberation. Just like, I guess, if we reflect that when we came into association of devotees, then our lives became auspicious, doors became opened. And this verse, which describes like that, the opening of doors, it says, but those who do not take advantage of this association, or instead associate with people who are fond of sex, etc., or materialistic people, then the doors of hell are open. So yeah, the doors of liberation, yeah. And yeah, Prabhupada in this specific purple, if you just had this purple, you just had this one purple, and you studied it very deeply, then you would understand everything about Krishna consciousness. I guess it's like that in most of Prabhupada's purples. The basic principle of surrendering to Krishna. Yeah. And then I'll ask a question here as well. Does it come up here? No. Perhaps the next verse. Yeah, I was reading ahead. I'm going too far ahead. Oh, yeah, no, here. Anyone know this verse here? I think we asked the same question a couple of weeks ago, or even last week. Prabhupada there's one verse in the 7th chapter. You see it highlighted here?
Please explain the 7th chapter. Yeah.
What's the Sanskrit for this verse in chapter 7? I'm trying to remember it myself now. It's gone off my mind. Let me look quickly. 7:14.
Isn't it about, sorry.
It's gone.
One who surrenders to Krishna, my divine energy,
You got it. You're paraphrasing it correctly.
Yeah.
The divine energy of mind consists of those 3 modes of material nature.
No.
It's difficult to overcome, but those
Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Mayat Ratyaya Mam Evaye Papadyante Mayam Etam.
I just need the
Rantite.
beginning.
Yeah, me as well. But this material nature, which is Ratyaya, very difficult to overcome, can be easily overcome by Krishna's grace and mercy. So Prabhupada's quoting that here. Yeah.
Why can't we remember things when, I mean, you know it and it doesn't come?
Well, there's so much to remember. I think it's asking a bit much to remember everything.
Yeah, especially.
But at least we can remember some percentage of what we read. So that's why the more we read and hear, then the bigger the percentage is.
But is it said that I don't know what I read, that if you were gambling in your life or previous lives, that's why you don't remember? Is that true?
I haven't heard that one.
No.
No, I haven't heard that one. So yeah, so the principle of surrender has been given here. Yeah, anyway, it seems quite immediate, isn't it? As soon as you surrender, it seems like it happens from 1 second to the next. But it's the experience is not quite like that for most of us. So surrender is generally a sharanagati. It's generally a process by which we gradually get purified, and then gradually we give more of ourself to Krishna until we give our complete self. Did it say here, perhaps in the purple I read, one gives one's soul to Krishna. One hands oneself over to Krishna completely. So that might not happen overnight. Yeah. But the way it's presented here, because the way it's presented here, that, yeah, one can simply by surrender to Krishna, one enters into the internal potency. You're free from the material nature as soon as you surrender to Krishna. So we've all surrendered to one degree or another. Some of us have initiation, first and second. Some of us have taken up chanting the holy name. So that's all surrender, means you surrender to Krishna. But can we say that we're free from the influence of material nature? If you if you're nodding heads, no. So devotion, that's why Prabhupada's, if you, as we study a bit deeply, Prabhupada explains the process of devotional service, the process of gradually taking up the activity of Shravanam, Kirtanam, then we have Anartha Nivritti, and the different stages. But from Prabhupada's point of view, I think we allured to this a couple of weeks ago as well. There's a little clip you can find where this is in Australia, and Prabhupada's giving class, and one devotee raises their hand and says, "How long does it take to surrender to Krishna, Prabhupada?" Anyone remember what he says? Anyone know that?
Instant.
Yeah, his eyes get wide and he leans forward. He goes, 1 second. He says it so dramatically, it all goes quiet, and he really means it. And the way he's saying it, as if it's perfectly possible. Don't doubt it. It takes 1 second. Now, I've been engaged in Krishna consciousness for many seconds. And I don't think my devotion is, that's what I describe, is ananya. See this word, ananya? Yeah, this means, this is another word. This means here, without deviation of the mind.
Right.
Yeah, so there's ananya bhakti, or bhajan, is ananya. So Prabhupada's referring that at the end here means it's unswerving. Yeah. But still, if we follow the path, if we follow the Mahatmas, then we will come to the stage of unswerving devotional service, Ananya Bhakti. And we will be sheltered completely by the Devi Prakriti, divine nature. And Vamsivat likes to point this out in this verse. I remember reading it with him. And Devi Prakriti means Radharani, bit esoterical definition, yeah? So you come under the shelter of the Lord's divine nature, which is personified in the form of Radharani. Now, there's another interesting point in this purport as well, which caught my attention. Anybody else has noticed something specific here about the nature of a Mahatma and what is a Mahatma, or what it means, Ananya Bhakti?
He doesn't divert his attention to anything outside Krishna.
Yeah. So tomorrow's Ram's appearance day. So it means we shouldn't observe it. No, kind of tongue-in-cheek. But yeah, Prabhupada is giving, this is what Mahatma is, and because it's Krishna who's speaking to Arjuna, it's the original two-armed form of Krishna. So devotees are not attracted here. So this is why it's good to study Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada's purports, because in other purports, in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada speaks generally about devotees worship different forms. Some worship Nrsimha, some worship Lord Ram, and Prabhupada encourages that, and he doesn't speak negatively. He says, yeah, just in paraphrasing, that this, but here, and he does it elsewhere as well. There's another verse where Prabhupada just glorifies the form of Krishna. He has lotus eyes, and he's has pastimes in the spiritual world as Govinda, and devotees just fix their minds upon this form. Yeah. So, like here, pure devotees are not attracted even by Krishna's other features, such as the four-armed Vishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. So this is Uttama Bhakti. This is the bhakti that's given by us by Srila Rupa Goswami. Yeah, just Krishna and Radharani, Radha Krishna. So why do we worship Lord Ram? Tomorrow we're going to worship Lord Ram. Why do we have Nrsimha Chaturthi? Why do we have why do Vamanadev appearance day, Varaha's appearance day? Shouldn't we just sorry?
Because they're all his different energies, his manifestations, different. He comes there, he comes, at Varaha, performing his pastimes, and we're all learning about his pastimes, reading about his pastimes, his activities.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's spot on. Yeah,
it's very important that he's expanding in so many ways, so we can serve him in any way.
Yeah, we can, but we're being directed primarily in this purple anyway to worship Krishna. But Chandravali has got, what she's saying is that our Lord, that we have so much appreciation for Krishna, that when he appears in other forms, then we like to hear about that as well, because it's Krishna. Because look, our Krishna's appeared as Lord Ram. Oh, how wonderful! but Krishna remains our Ishtadev. Oh, he's appeared as Lord Nrsimha. Wow, a beautiful Krishna, sweet Krishna, who who's playing wonderful sweet pastimes. He's appeared as as a very angry half man, half lion. Wow, let's hear about that form of Krishna. Let's hear the Leela. But devotees remain, their Ishtadev of their heart remains Krishna, Radha Krishna. Yeah, even my Guru Maharaj, perhaps I should get this quote correct before I read it, but even Prabhupada said, let me see, shouldn't, I know, I better check in this. Yeah, perhaps I won't say it. I better double check it. Might cause some controversy. Yeah. So.
Because when we're worshipping Krishna, we're worshipping Nrsimhadev, Varaha, Ram, everything, all other forms of Krishna.
Yeah, that's also to be considered as well, especially the Murti, the Archer Murti. Then, so it's considered all the incarnations are within Krishna. Yeah. And even there's pastimes where Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna will manifest as Mahavishnu. Yeah, he will manifest. All these forms will manifest from him. Just like Brahma Vimohan Leela, all the Vishnu forms appeared from Krishna, the two-armed form. Then they went back into his two-armed form. So Krishna everything is coming from him. Yeah. So this is definition of Mahatma.
Lord Ram comes, speaks to Sita about him coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like Sita asks, am I going to be there? And he says, no, I'm going to. Is that Lord Ram saying to Sita? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, there's a pastime like that. Yeah, there's pastimes like that where, yeah, I can't forget the detail, but that's basically it. Then he reveals his gold, or Radharani has a dream, and she's dreaming of her Krishna in this golden form. That's one. And then, yeah, you're speaking about, yeah, then about separation, and you will be separated from me.
Yeah, you'll be separate from
Yeah, no, I can't remember the details of that, but yeah, there is one such pastime. There's many such pastimes. Yeah. All right. So if anyone, yeah, this is a Mahatma. Mahatmanas Mampata.
And from this sentence, I was thinking of Radharani. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside because he knows perfectly well. Yeah. And then I was just thinking how Radharani's mind does not divert to anything.
Yeah, she's the personification of devotion.
Yeah, Krishna.
Yeah. So she exhibits devotion to the highest degree. So devotees always asking for her grace and mercy. And it's from her that devotion manifests everywhere and anywhere. So yeah. Yeah, that was all right. Yeah, the Mahatma. Okay. This is a oft quoted verse by Prabhupada as well. Sorry?
Sorry, I was going to ask you. Yeah, like I was thinking the other day, you chanting, you reading, some more chanting as well, and you trying to follow, like hearing properly, you trying to, if any times comes in, but yet there is things missing, yet you need to get a bit, there's got to be more to it.
Mm.
Then how does one go forward with that thoughts or find what's more to it?
Well, that's the dynamic of spiritual life. That's the eternal quest of someone who's engaged in devotional service. We will always feel like that. I mean, that's why spiritual life is dynamic. It is not static. And devotion is unlimited. How much devotion and how you can express that either externally or internally, it's like an unlimited ocean. So we're never going to get to the end of that ocean. There will always be a gap. Always will be. But as long as that is in a sense that this is for someone who's nicely situated as a sadhaka. In other words, the following the principles and the chanting the holy name. So their lacking is an impetus for further advancement. But if someone's lacking means they're only following three regulative principles, then that's another discussion. But that's the eternal, that's the as Gopal we had Bhagavatam Rita is always on the path, he's always going forward. I don't know whether I'm addressing your question.
Yeah. Like, you there on you're chanting, you really like giving as much as you've got to give. And yet kind of not satisfied at the end that no, they want good drums. No,
Yeah.
Because that's why he's playing Krishna with us. That's how he plays with us.
Yeah, we're similarly satisfied and unsatisfied. In other words, we're satisfied with, and we need no more, and we do not need anything else from the material energy. The devotees are Twama Kinchana Gochara. They're exhausted materially. Yeah, so they're not hankering for anything material. So in that sense, they are, materially speaking, they are Atmaramas, they are fully satisfied. But from the point of view of service to Krishna, it's that is the eternal, wonderful dynamic of serving Krishna that is unlimited. How much devotion can you have? It's like, I mean, an ocean has its limits. A ocean has a bottom of it, like the Atlantic Ocean has a bottom. Someone I was reading the other day, but there's a part of the Atlantic Ocean which is the deepest, in the deepest part of the ocean, of any ocean. I think it's the Indian Ocean. And but it does have a limit. It does have a limit. You're going to get to the bottom of it eventually. But expression of devotion to Krishna, you'll never get to the bottom of it.
Is that because he's unlimited?
Yeah, it's like unlimited, and it turns and it moves in wonderful ways, and you always, just like the residents of Vrindavan, they can never get enough of Krishna. That's the dynamic of spirit. Matter, you get bored with it. It loses its attraction after some time. When you have a record, you know, records. You used to have records, but I used to be a fan of music, and I used to buy records, and I listened to them once, twice, 3 times. When it gets to 15 or 20 times, then you're kind of loses its thrill, because it's matter. But Krishna consciousness is the complete opposite of that, ever increasing. And yeah, it's not as if the residents of Vrindavan, all right, here comes Krishna again. Every day he comes out. What's the big deal? What's the big deal is coming out to herd the cows? I see it every day. We can just make a video of it and watch it. Why do you have to go out and watch him leave for the cow? No, they say it's eternal. It's eternal. It's going on eternally. They want to go and see Krishna leaving in the morning, and they want to see him coming back in the evening. Yeah, this is spiritual life. Material life is boring. That's why it's called mundane. There isn't anything there. It's just a show. It's just a pretense.
But everyone else believes in it.
Yeah, because it's very powerful. As we read, the Devi Isha, it's very powerful as well. So it kind of bewilders people into thinking there's something there. There's something of substance. But there is nothing.
The donkey and the carrot.
Yeah, the donkey and the carrot.
We say that donkey and the carrot. You put on a donkey a string here and the carrot in front of him, and he walks peacefully.
Yeah. So
same.
Yeah, so the Mahatmas, like here, and there's a nice description, one commentary as well, that they are free and not full of trivial, mundane desires. Yeah. Trivial. Trivial means small, pathetic, and not worth it. Yeah. This is material. This is trivial desires. Trivial desires means desires for matter. But their devotees are full of desires for Krishna. So, yeah, they are not full of trivial, mundane desires. This is definition of a Mahatma. Their hearts are cleansed of all dross. Dross is an old English word. Drosh. All dross and impurities. The hearts are sparkling with a love for Krishna. Yeah, so now the next verse is going to describe then, okay, having described Mahatmas, what do they do? I guess we know, but it's going to describe what are the activities of such great souls. Yeah. And how exactly do they serve the Lord? So Krishna can describe that now. What do the Mahatmas do? This is what the Mahatmas are. They're absorbed in the divine nature. So what do they actually do? And that's the next verse. And how do they serve the Lord?
Preach about Krishna. Like
Yeah.
Devotional service.
They take part in the Bhagavad Gita Sangha on the Tuesday and Wednesday night from 6 to. All right,
It's only 1 hour.
Yeah.
only 1 hour you're a Mahatma, the rest we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. All right, let's have someone would like to read number 14.
I can try.
Yeah. Let's see who's with us.
Let somebody else want to. Yes, please. Sachari, Gayatri.
Sachari is a reader. Gayatri is a reader.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still in the pujari.
Still in
Are you?
Pujari. Well, you're very fortunate. You're locked in the Pujari.
Okay,
Where is
Gayatri.
this man who was earlier here? She disappeared from the screen. We never heard her reading.
Lutta, I think.
Maybe, yes.
English is not her first language, I don't think. But you're quite welcome to read, Mother Ludja. But we don't like to force devotees. There might be, otherwise, might not so easy. All right, I'm going to have a read. Hare Krishna. Okay, Satata Kita Yanto Mam Nitantascha Tuta Vrataha Namasyantascha Mam Bhakta Nityayukta Upasate. Okay, so this is what Mahatmas do. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Okay. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping and an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. So if you read Prabhupada Lilamrita, then Prabhupada's having a dig at someone here. I'm speculating. Who's he thinking about here?
The one who chants all the time?
No, there's a person, there's an historical personality in India.
Is that Tukaram Maharaj?
No.
No.
Mahatma
Tukaram.
Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah. He
Ah,
was given a title Mahatma. So my speculation, Prabhupada's referring to him here. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. Of course, he was pious and he had respect for Bhagavad Gita, but I don't think he was a bhakta, and I don't think he had, I don't know, but I don't think he had faith in, he didn't understand the divinity of Krishna, but he was rubber stamped as a Mahatma. Anyway, that's my...
It means that he's on the money. Rubber stamped.
Yeah, he was stamped he was stamped as a great soul. But anyway, here, I guess he was a great soul. What he did in one sense, let's give him some credit, for sure. But he wasn't what the Bhagavad Gita defines as a Mahatma. This is a Mahatma. His symptoms are described here. Always engage in chanting the glories of the Lord, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. Yeah. Prabhupada wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi as well, advising him to retire. Yeah. That was just before he died as well. Prabhupada wrote a letter beseeching him to get out while he could, because Prabhupada could see his life was in danger because the politics is politics. So he's encouraging him to take up study of Bhagavad Gita. But he didn't either receive the letter or he didn't respond to it. But anyway, yeah. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy name, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon activities. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Pramajyoti, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Smaranam. Remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything in the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. Tomorrow we're fasting half day, isn't it? For Lord Ram. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right. So if you want to get admission, special admission, a special ticket to associate with Krishna, we follow certain rules and regulations. Yeah. Getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah, just like to get into the Bajai department tomorrow, you have to have special, you have to get special permission. You have to book in your time.
Yeah.
The person, yeah. The Mahatmas, the great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations before they are, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result. I just want to, as described in the 2nd verse of this chapter. What's the 2nd verse of this chapter?
Oh, I don't know.
We spent quite some time on it. It's a long purple.
12, yeah?
2, 9-2.
2. The long one. Should we read it?
No, just the Raja Vidya
Rajagunya.
Jagoyam. That's it. Pavajam itam uttamam patyakshava gamam damyam shrukontam avayam. This knowledge is the king of education, most secret of the secrets, is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self, it is everlasting and is joyfully performed. So Prabhupada's he's referring to that here, as described in the 2nd verse of this chapter. Not only is devotional service very easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. Raja Vijay Prabhutam Udam Sukham Avayam. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. Yeah, the devotee from Ukraine gave class this morning in the temple. He was speaking about that here. It's a nice present, really nice. Yeah, no one does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live his life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master in any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or brahmachari, in any position and anywhere in the world. He can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul, not by rubber stamping. And all right, any questions or comments? If there's not for the moment, I found quite interesting the Baladev Vijayabhushan's commentary on this verse. I'll read parts of it because it very much, Prabhupada is very much, you can see he's been inspired, I would say, by these commentaries here and his own wonderful realizations. But he said, so 2 verses now explain the devotional service at all times. So satata kirtayanto mam. Yeah, Satata Kita Yanto Mam. So that means at all times. So this means Baladeva Vijayabhushan mentions that without regard to purity or time of place, they glorify me. Yeah. And they worship me, Mam Upasati, by loudly chanting the sweet nectar of my names, related to my auspicious qualities and activities, such as Govinda and Govardhandhari. And here, Prabhupada alludes to it here as well, going to temples, housing my forms, falling down like rods on a dusty earth, full of devotion, Namasyanta Bhakta, they worship me. Yeah, and the word, yeah. Yeah. The word cha indicates that other unmentioned processes, such as hearing and reciting prayers of deity worship, are included. So cha, so they worship the worship engaged. Yeah. And this Nitya Yukta, Baladev Vijayabhushana, also Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, they speak of it as the devotees, they desire an eternal relationship with me in the future. Nitya Yukta. They want to be eternally engaged in the Lord's service forever and ever. They don't for the rest of eternity. Nitya Yukta. They want to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Now that's a Mahatma. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There's more. Yeah.
Otherwise, what else can you do?
Yeah. What else can you do? You can fall into Maya. That's what you can do.
Yeah, but there's nothing to do there. It's really
Yeah.
burning there.
And this is from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. He says, just as poor householders strive for money at the door of a wealthy man in order to support their families, my devotees seek out the assembly of devotees in order to obtain devotional processes like chanting. Right? So just as someone might be impoverished and they might humble themselves to ask for assistance from a wealthy person, the devotees in that same mood, they seek out the association of devotees in order to obtain the divine process of chanting, like the divine process like chanting. Yeah. And they make strict vows for themselves as well, thinking, I must do this number of rounds of chanting, this many obeisances, this much so. I will cook Raj Bhog once a week. I will dress once a week. I will make garlands once a week. I will chant. I will go on book distribution. This is thinking, I must do this number of rounds of chanting, this many obeisances, this much service. They offer their obeisances. Yeah. And it goes on here. It's nice. Perhaps I won't read the whole thing, but again, he mentions the word cha indicates that they also perform all other processes of bhakti, such as hearing, serving the lotus feet, which are not mentioned in this verse. The word cha means everything in relationship to bhakti. That's what Mahatmas do. And they desire an eternal relationship with me, Nitya Yukta. Nitya Yukta Upasati. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned in the Sunday feast this week that Prabhupada, he was arguing with an impersonalist Indian man who was professing a sadhana of worshipping the deity and then merging into the deity, the temporary worship of the impersonalists of the deity. So you can imagine how that went down with Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada was just saying this last line. He was saying this last line to him. The man was speaking his nonsense, but Prabhupada was just saying Nitya Yukta Upasati. The man carried on speaking. Prabhupada said Nitya Yukta Upasati. the man carried on speaking. At some point, Prabhupada leaned over and grabbed him by the collar and shook him. Nitya yukta upasate. Forever. It's not a devotion is not a temporary thing. I think at that instance, Prabhupada said to his disciples after, you cannot do such a thing. I am an old man. I can do that thing, but you should not do that. Grabbing the scruff of someone's neck. Nitya yukta upasate. Yes, so we're all doing what this verse says to one degree or another. Yeah. Any comments or anything to add from anybody else or questions? Wow, time has flown away with it. Now the next verse, that was 14. Huh? Yeah, it's a slight different subject. The next few verses. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
But you didn't finish everything to read, Morley Prabhu.
I did. I didn't. No.
No, you stopped there at the Godhead, as described in the second verse, the chapter, not only in the devotional.
Okay,
No.
sorry. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. As described in the second verse, yeah, we stopped at Rajaguyam. Yeah. As described in this verse, in the second verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. Except you have to wake up early in the morning, okay? He can live this life in devotional service guided by an expert spiritual master. And in any position, I did read this, either as a householder, a sannyasi or brahmachari, or any position, and I did read this, and in anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus become actually a Mahatma, a great soul. Yeah. All right, we've got 5 minutes left. So the next verse, let's see how big the purple is. So the next verse is describing so there's 3 types of persons who worship him indirectly. In other words, they're worshiping Krishna, but they don't know they're worshiping Krishna. That's what's being described here in this next verse, Others who engage, etc. So, Baba Chandraval, you like to read from here? Or anybody else?
You mean the whole verse? No, where is it? Where are you telling me to read from?
There, number 15.
Oh, the whole, the slok.
Yeah. Let's just read the slok, then we get into the purple. Let's see. Go on.
Jnana Vijnana Chappe Anya Yajanto Ma Upasate Ektavena
Takvina.
Bahuda Vishwatomo.
Come.
Translation. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship God as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. Do you want me to read the purport or have you
Why not? We got precious 5 minutes left. Let's fill it up.
purport? This verse is a summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as a distress, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower, and these are divided into 3. 1. He who worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord. 2. He who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord and worships that. And 3, he who accepts the universal form, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worships that.
All right, so just a quick thing. So we know that Chaturveda Bhajanti Mam, the 4 types of persons pious persons who engage, who actually come to Krishna, and they're not considered pure devotees. Now there's others who are lower.
Even lower
So,
than.
yeah, so that's been described here. Interesting. So you can pick it up from there, out of the 3, yeah?
Out of the above 3, the lowest, those who worship themselves as
Uh-huh.
Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be monist, are most predominant. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but are actually spiritual soul. At least such a sense is prominent. Generally, the impersonalists worship the Supreme Lord in this way. The second class includes the worshippers of the demigods, those who, by imagination, consider any form to be the form of the Supreme Lord. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that. The universe is also a form of the Lord.
All right.
Okay.
So they're engaged in some type of worship, but I think it will be mentioned later. It is, in one sense, it's worship of Krishna, but in a very indirect way. Very indirect way. So I don't know if Prabhupada will clarify later. At least these are Gyanis, okay? These are Gyanis. Interesting, the mentality, trying to understand how they worship themselves as God. Now, these persons, as far as I know, they're not exactly saying that everything comes from them. They think that everyone's God. Everyone is God. So there's no need to worship a separate deity because we are all God. Now, generally, persons who claim that they are literally God in a full sense of the term, that the whole world comes from them and they are God, these persons normally have to be locked up. They have to be locked away because they're dangerous. They're generally mentally deranged. I am God. You obey what I say because I am God. Some people actually literally are maddened like that. But these are persons who, through speculation, they imagine themselves and everyone else to be God. So even Prabhupada, then they offer some type of puja to, so like they will offer puja to human society, to the collection of the jivas, which includes them. Yeah. Lowest of, so yeah, but it's also quite subtle as well. And most people in the material world, well, all people in the material world are here because they're trying to act like God and be the supreme enjoyers. So subtly, anyone in the material world is on a God mission. Yeah, subtly. That's generally, But here, these persons are actually some type of philosophers and gyanis and yogis. So yeah. All right. So as we can look at, just have a flashback tomorrow when we we won't be having
So
we'll be doing Abhishek and everything like that tomorrow. So no
class.
next week we'll come back to this and we'll have a visiting. All right. Okay, so let's pause for today. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us. And
Thank you.
look forward to our next reading will be on Thursday. We have Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful Ram Navami tomorrow. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, everyone.
Holy Prabhu
Bhagavad
ki
Gita.
Jai Sri
Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare.